All right, North Central Connected 2021. This is actually the 26th episode of our podcast. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Time flies.
Time flies. So, as a result of this new year and I guess 26th anniversary, that 26th episode we're celebrating, we are now North Central Connected. We are no longer North Central Infused. About a year ago this time, we rebranded the entire company, and we figured a year later it's time to rebrand the podcast. So, North Central Connected, connecting you to your cooperative. As always, I am joined by our CEO and General Manager, Kevin Doddridge.
Hello, everyone.
Our Director of Safety and Loss Control, J.D. Cox.
Glad to be here.
And our Director of Economic Development and Marketing, Michael Bellapani.
Thanks, Justin.
Sorry, I tripped all over that. And I am your media specialist, Justin Jaggers. And since everyone else has an "and" in their title, I am media specialist and now certified cooperative communicator.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So that was one of my big projects for 2020. We now have a ranking, or I guess a recognition from the NRECA on our cooperative communications program. So
big accomplishment.
yes. So 2021, we're still working on some changes here at North Central, and that's right. I guess we'll just throw to you,
Throw it to
fearless
me.
Leader. Yeah.
I'm fearless. I'm the one without the headphones. So. If you can't understand me, it's because I can't hear myself. But yeah, even though this is a late January podcast, a lot of things are going on as we look forward into February. And I'm glad that we've made it through January without any appreciable, any noticeable severe weather. And but February is kind of a transition month. And February is great for several reasons. I really don't care for January that much. February is really good. You've got pitchers and catchers report for spring training. You've got Mardi Gras that transitions into Lent and Easter, and you're just really trying to get geared up for the spring. But when you get geared up for the spring, you have to remember that that's when a lot of severe weather comes to this community, usually in the form of severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. But another thing that we have to be aware of is as we go from February into March, there's still opportunity for ice, which is really our biggest nemesis. We've had several tornadoes in the last several years, one in 2015, one in 2009, and one about 13 months ago, some limited ice events. But I was here during the 1994 ice storm, which really shut down the majority of the Southeast. And I just want to reaffirm the membership that North Central is always planning strategically on ways to mitigate outages through maintenance in our right-of-way program, and also making sure that we have more than adequate response when we have outages. If it's not our labor and equipment, that we rely on the partnership through other electric cooperatives to bring in their labor and equipment. So we are doing all that we can to make sure that we mitigate severe weather at North Central. But as always, we do have a great concern for our membership. And that concern is that maybe our members individually or small business owners aren't prepared for a weather event that could lead to a lengthy outage. And we really haven't had a lengthy outage at North Central in some time. The 2009, I believe, tornado probably had some people without power for 4 days, maybe 5. But when you're looking at an ice storm, much like we had in '94, that's when you have outages that not only extend for days, but potentially even weeks. And back then, I believe we had people out for 13 to 14 days. I have concerns that our community and the people at home aren't prepared for something like that. And as we all know, ice is a little bit less predictable. You may think you have a rain event, you may think you have a snow event. It hits somewhere in the middle, and you have an ice event. In 1994, in February, when that ice storm came through, we completely got caught blindsided. We were actually sending our crews down south to help some of our sister systems down there when the ice started accumulating up here, and we actually had to send crews to cut our crews out so they could return and help us. So it can catch up on you quick, and sometimes you don't know exactly how much ice you're going to get and it can be devastating what it does to our infrastructure. So we just want to reaffirm that we are prepared. But we also want our membership to be prepared and realize that we live in a very convenient community where we have prepared food 24 hours at areas. We've got grocery stores, fuel, but there does need to be a level of preparedness when you don't have that, and you need to look at several days worth of supplies. And instead of me trying to tell you everything that you should do, the Mississippi, help me out.
Mississippi Emergency Management
Mississippi
Association.
Emergency Management Association, MEMA, Mississippi's version of FEMA. But MEMA, at their website, if you go to that website, there are some really good resources that give you some idea of what you need to do. And it even breaks it out in different types of weather events that we could have and how to prepare. So I would strongly encourage you to go and check that out and be prepared, because a prolonged outage due to a weather event is difficult on everyone, but if you're not prepared, it can be incredibly difficult. Something that has happened recently in our country, and I guess it probably affects the whole world, is the swearing in of our new president, Joe Biden, and the vice president, Kamala Harris. Just so people will know, electric cooperatives have a strong history, a strong working relationship and partnership with our federal government, and it's really, truly nonpartisan. We do support people that support electric co-ops. It gets you a seat at the table. And probably what we're going to see in the upcoming days will be, we've had administrations, not just the previous, but one before it, that, and really going back for 30, 40, 50 years, that use the executive order to accomplish a lot of action. You live by the executive order, you die by the executive order, and you're going to see probably President Biden signing a lot of executive orders that are reversing previous executive orders. So some of the relaxations that we saw at the EPA regarding climate change, we're probably going to see some of those reversed. But when they're reversed, that kind of takes us back to a starting point. And co-ops want to be at the table, and we feel strongly that we will be at the table. It's time for electric co-ops to quit going to our elected officials and just saying no, no, no. We're going to get together and come up with a plan and try to work with the administration to make sure that when climate change is addressed in a way that affects utilities and co-ops, that we're there to offer our influence, and eventually what we're trying to do is protect our member. We're doing that on a variety of fronts right now. So we're dealing with a case in Tennessee with TVA, open access on the transmission system, a reorganization with them. Usually when I start talking about things that are going on outside our local community, it may confuse people as to why we're so heavily involved. But ultimately, it trickles down to our member, and we're always trying to protect our member in our community. It does make me feel good to know that the chairman of the committee that will oversee a lot of this is Joe Manchin, and he is a very moderate, reasonable Democrat, and look forward to work with him in the future, as he does have a lot of experience in this area, and a very practical thinking man. Lastly, I'll talk about the progress that we've made with Connect. And right now we are signing people up, lighting services, running drops, running them overhead, running them underground. We have approximately 30 pieces of equipment, over 40 employees that are contracted and working for Connect right now, just doing this type work. A lot of y'all probably seen contractors working for C-Spire and other companies. So right now in this community, there is a lot of fiber being trenched in, put on poles, a lot of work going on. We are doing our best to coordinate with these other providers, but at times we start tripping over each other. And unfortunately, what happens is the member may see a little interruption in their communication services. And when that happens, we're going to do our best to get it restored, but it's literally hundreds of underground locations that we need to get accomplished in a shorter period of time. It's very difficult to do, and inevitably an accident's going to take place, and someone's going to cut someone else's fiber or something along that nature. And just to let you know, we are aware of it. We don't want to happen, and maybe as things progress further and further, we'll coordinate this a little bit better to make sure that we definitely limit interruptions to your present service. Beyond that, like I said, take a look at that website, MEMA. It's a good resource, and y'all stay safe.
Okay. So now that we go over to some safety milestones and some great things that have been happening with our employees in our company.
Justin, thank you.
Of course.
I'll just start out kind of piggybacking off of some of the comments that Kevin made about severe weather preparedness and things of that nature.
Piggybacking meaning he was riding a pig.
Every year in February when they have the severe weather preparedness, there's a specific week that they have, and this podcast is a little bit ahead of them putting out the specific dates of that. It's normally around the second week of February, and each one of those dates they take on a different safety aspect of preparedness. Normally that Wednesday they will have a statewide emergency drill at the same time. So we're going to try to coordinate with the state and be a participant in that emergency alert, just to make sure that all of our stuff is the way that it should be if we need to alert our employees here at work and things of that nature. So please, the website that Kevin was referring to, just continue to check it and look for the dates of the Severe Weather Preparedness Week in February. There'll be a lot of great information in there talking about what you should do if you're indoors, outdoors, all kind of situations. Really easy to access. If you scroll down to the bottom of the website, they have these different color cubes at the bottom with different types of preparedness information. So I would just encourage you to visit the site, as Kevin said, and I think you'll be glad you did. As Justin said, we've actually got a couple of great milestones to talk about. Looking back at last year and how we did as far as the safety of our employees and things of that nature. On January the 11th, 2021, that was a milestone of 1 year that we worked without any lost time incidents at North Central. So we're very, very proud of that. And just to put it in perspective about actually how much work that is, that's about 166,000 man hours that we collectively worked. And I think some people just don't think about the type of work that we do and how many of our employees on a day-to-day basis are exposed to the elements. The work that we do is already challenging enough from a safety aspect. So I would just like to congratulate not only our community, but I'd like to congratulate our employees because it's a total effort by everyone. That type of record does not happen on accident. So just like to congratulate everyone on their effort and just thank my coworkers for everything that they've done to make that happen. Recently, in the last couple of days, one of the things that cooperatives do and one of our principles that we operate by is cooperation between cooperatives. And certainly one of those areas where we are very strong in cooperation is as it relates to safety. We have a safety program in our state where you can go through a process and become accredited. And it's a very rigorous inspection process. There's 16 different sections in this inspection. And recently myself and some fellows from other cooperatives went down to Delta EPA. And we met with their safety people down there. They've got a great safety culture going on at Delta as well. And went to 4 different offices down there. Their territory covers about 11 different counties across the Delta. And really, you know, this cooperation.
It is a rural electric cooperative.
It is a rural electric cooperative for sure. But it really gives you a true sense of the cooperation among cooperatives and how much information transfer there is. You know, we'll go down there. We think we do a lot of good things safety-wise here. You go there and you see something they're doing. It's a really great idea, and you bring it back and see how it would benefit our cooperative to put something like that in place. So I would just like to congratulate Mr. O'Brien and Delta for the good job that they did down there. We appreciate them inviting us in on at least 2 of our inspections, their safety professionals have come up here and helped us with our inspection. So really just want to tell them how much we appreciate the opportunity. And really our statewide association is the one that quarterbacks all of that. And they do a real good job of assisting us in helping one another out. So again, just congratulations to Delta. And that's all I have.
You did get some double quick chicken, right?
I did.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Best chicken in the world.
And now to talk about what's going on in the community and some events, we have Michael Bellapany.
Well, thanks, Justin. Y'all be on the lookout. We've got our February issue of Today in Mississippi coming out. Our local pages will feature, as usual, a always entertaining message by Kevin, and
Put a little pressure on me
Yeah.
there. Always entertaining. I may need to take a second look at that one.
well, hey, we get more comments on your section than any other.
And your comments are influencing other parts because I'm already working on March, and I quote you on some of your favorite stories of cooperatives.
Yeah.
As Yogi Berra said, I didn't say all those things I said.
There is no ghostwriter in that, I can assure you.
No, we can't afford one.
But Justin's going to have a great article in there. I know that we've all experienced issues with the Postal Service here lately, and I still have Christmas presents missing.
So do I.
Justin put together an article on all the ways that you can manage your account without having to rely on the mail. And it's safe. We've got encryption methods in our app and in our web portal that keep you safe. So we can get your bill delivered to you electronically. You can set up an auto pay. You can set up a recurring auto payment, so it's something you don't have to worry about. And of course, you can always go through our Pay My Way service, which is our prepaid service to manage your utility bill. There's also a feature highlighting our youth tour students from last year, and they deserve all the recognition that they can get because they missed out on a tremendous opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. due to the pandemic. And in lieu of that, what we decided to do is we've issued a $2,500 scholarship for each one of those 15 kids. And they'll be featured in our local pages. And we wish them the best in their college career, and hopefully they'll stay in touch with us. I've certainly offered to write recommendation letters because the inclusion in that program was well deserved.
Yeah, and it's really great with some of them because we've been putting together the pictures and everything, and a lot of them you'll see some sort of like honor society cord or logo on there. So these are bright kids, and they're going to be running the state, if not the country, one day. So
That's right.
We can only hope so.
yeah.
And sadly, we have this isn't included in the Today in Mississippi, but the upcoming year of Youth Leadership Program and Youth Tours has been canceled. We typically do a 3-day workshop in Jackson at the end of February with 85 students in the same room, and we just can't do that. That's not the responsible thing to do, and we don't have a way to social distance and meet with our legislators, and we certainly can't plan a trip to Washington, D.C. at this point. So we're saddened by that decision, but it's the right thing to do to be safe and responsible. So, but lastly, in our Today in Mississippi, we'll have an article updating on Northcentral Connect. Now, Kevin alluded to how fast we're how many employees and how much equipment we've got going on in this construction. It's a major undertaking, and we've heard frustration through social media with the lack of service in certain areas, and also with the speed of our project.
Yeah.
And that's warranted. We're frustrated too. But we're doing it the right way. We're being prudent with our with our membership, and services are being connected at this point, but there is a lot of work that goes into this. I mean, we've got make-ready work, which requires changing out poles, making sure that the right height and they can withstand the weight. But, you know, I think all total, we've got about 47 miles of line out there right now.
We do. We do.
And in some weeks, we're building 6 to 8 miles a week, I think.
And Michael, a lot of those improvements that we're making is for the safety and benefit of those people out there that's installing it and the ones that will have to maintain it. And I'm very, very thankful for that, because in the long run, it probably is slowing us down some now, but in the long run,
It is.
it'll help.
If I could chime in, it's when we started this, I said it was going to be a deliberate process, and it has been a deliberate process. But a deliberate process is necessary if we're going to deliver to you the product that we said that we were. And we're going to do it safely. And we're going to make sure that if we have storms at night and people have to get up in that area where the fiber is, they're not in close contact with energized lines. We're just going to make sure that we do it that way. And it's a little bit slower, but it will be to everyone's benefit as we move forward. I do want to reiterate, if you're frustrated because we're slow to get service to you, keep reminding us. Keep going to the website and showing your interest. The more people show interest, the more people that sign up and receive the service, the faster we can roll service out to others. And if we see a lot of promise in this project, no promises here, and knock on something that appears to be a wood product, we would like to see a time when instead of doing a $10 to $15 million spend a year, maybe we're doing a $25, $30, $35 million spend. Maybe we've got 80 to 100 contractors working on it. So if you will give us the information, go to the website, sign up, show interest, then that really helps us determine where to go after our phases have been planned. And like Michael talked about, the make-ready work is a very slow type work, and we can get even further out front doing that, so we'll be ready to install the fiber and get that service to you.
That's right.
And that website is northcentralconnect.com, by the way.
And if you click the sign up button, you can register your address, and by doing that puts you on a map, and it helps us guide our decisions going forward. But so far, we've had over 2,000 residents register interest. And I believe we've got about 270 signed up so far. So.
And if you're not in our service area and you have an interest, go ahead and show the interest. There's going to be some areas to where we're going to run a fiber right to the end of our service area. If we know that we have interest, it only makes sense for us, if nothing else, to go ahead and engineer that area and plan on serving it at some point. So don't think if you're on a neighboring utility that you shouldn't show interest. It doesn't cost anything or hurt to show interest, so please do.
That's right. Absolutely. I wanted to hit on this real quick, and if you don't follow your utility companies on social media, please do that. The ones that have a presence, Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, LinkedIn,
YouTube.
We communicate a lot of outages, a lot of outage information, talking about severe weather. So most of our communication as far as progress and outage restoration is put there, as well as communication about planned outages. And we try and communicate as far in advance and as often as we can when it's a planned outage, and we try and personally call the members or send an automated call if it's a large block, but sometimes we miss a few. So just keep in touch with us on social media. We try and communicate as often as we can. And that's just another way that we try and stay connected with the member. I mentioned the scholarships for youth leadership students. We also offer other scholarship opportunities for those of you that are graduating seniors, if we have any that young that are listening to our podcast. But I know
Thank you.
I know we've got their parents, and they're the ones that are more interested in this.
That's your
anyway.
target market right there.
That's my target. We're going to offer, I think, 7 or 8 $1,500 scholarships for graduating seniors. That application is on our website at northcentralelectric.com, and the deadline for submission on those is March 5th at 5 o'clock, end of business. Those can be emailed in, dropped off to the office, or mailed. So, we've got an event I want to promote that was funded through our Community Care Fund that was established by North Central and TVA, that is with the Community Foundation of Northwest Mississippi, and is also supported by the Maddox Foundation. And this is in partnership with the YMCA of Memphis in the Mid-South, particularly the Olive Branch YMCA.
You might have read about this in the January issue of Today in Mississippi.
Yeah, we hit our efforts with the Community Care Fund, but this is a neat opportunity. It's called the Y on the Fly. And the first event will be Friday, January 29th at Candlelight Mobile Estates in Olive Branch. And it's going to be from 2 to 4. The Y will be there handing out coats, handing food, books. They'll have games to interact with the residents out there, and it's open to the whole community. It's not just the residents of Candlelight. But there's two other events on February 12th at the same time from 2 to 4 at Sacred Heart Southern Missions Thrift Store in Hernando. That's on Commerce Street. As well as the third event on February 26th at Dehan Villages in Walls. So we've got that information posted at our office, and we'll get it up on social media. But those are great events. But coats, books, lots of fun for everybody. So make sure to check that out. And lastly, we're starting to make plans for musicians for Le Bonheur.
Award-winning
musicians
for Le Bonheur. Yeah, so I've been in contact with Le Bonheur Children's Hospital to bring music back. To quote some of our employees, this is a little project where you get something on you. Yep. You're nodding your head over there. Basically, what we've done, we did in 2019, we put together a compilation album featuring 40 Mid-South and Memphis musicians, all genres. I've actually started getting some submissions again. Free World, of course, is signed up immediately. They've already sent in their paperwork, and there you go. That's Kevin.
They didn't let me sing backup last time, but that'll... And they won't let me this time either, but that's fine.
I think they said back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back out.
But, so, there's some great musicians, and even in our service area, Merrick Koch and Ted Horrell and the Monday Night Card, they've already sent some stuff in, and gospel and hip-hop artists, and it's really an eclectic mix of local musicians that have donated a song and want to help, and North Central Electric Cooperative got behind this, and we managed to get some recognition from the NRECA as part of this project. And unfortunately, last year, a pandemic hit, so we had to keep our distance from the hospital, and we put together a 4-hour, I call it a rockumentary, featuring the employees that got to volunteer and some messages of hope and encouragement. It's available on Amazon Prime if you ever get a chance. It's Le Bonheur. It's if you got 4 hours, or if you want to watch 30 minutes at a time over 8 days. It's fine by me. But it all goes to the Le Bonheur Children's Hospital. But with the hopes of a COVID-19 vaccine, we're hoping that we can kind of move things along and visit the hospital again and put together that album. And if you're a musician that's interested in donating a song, it needs to be a studio quality track, family friendly and original. You just email that to info@musiciansforlebonheur.com. I'll send you some information on that. If you're a local business that wants to help and you want to sell the CD in your storefront or give it out as gifts, info@musiciansforlebonheur.com. We have a website set up. We've got all kinds of media, and we are officially a 501c3 nonprofit organization that kind of helps if you want to, have a tax-deductible donation. So that, again, info@musiciansforlebonheur.com. Everyone here that's been involved with it has zero complaints, and they love the project.
I look forward to it every year.
Yeah.
Hope we get to pull it off.
I do too. We will find some way to keep it going just like we did last year, but I'm really hoping that we get to visit the hospital and bring music to the kids, because you really get to see the healing power of art and creativity and music. So
That's right.
Yep. So, anything else?
No, that's all I had.
All right. Well, if I mentioned at the top of the podcast that this is North Central Connected now, you will notice some more cameras. You see a clear picture of everybody that's talking and a new location. This is our new permanent podcast studio. So we want to kind of raise the bar on what we've been doing and raise the production value and be more clear and communicative with our members. And so if you want to be involved, it's if you have a business that you'd like to showcase, if you have a suggestion for this podcast, it's podcast@northcentralelectric.com. And you can find all of the things that we talked about on social media. We have tripled our social media presence. You can find North Central Electric Cooperative on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Podbean, what else we can find. North Central Connect, if you're interested in following that on social media, it's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now North Central Connected, The podcast social media page is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you search North Central Electric Cooperative, North Central Connect, or North Central Connected, you will find us. Follow us, leave a comment, leave a review, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So have I plugged that enough?
Justin, just as a last comment from me,
Yeah.
just don't forget, if we do have any severe weather come through and your utilities go out, please don't assume that we know.
Yeah.
Please report it. And if there's any down power lines or anything like that, please stay away from them and keep your pets and young children, anything like that, away from them as well.
Okay, and that number to call is 662-895-2151. We're not able to report outages through social media right now, maybe one day, but the best way to do that is the number to call is 662-895-2151, and we work as hard as we can, even in the overnight hours, to get our members connected. And I think that's about it from our newly rebranded podcast, and have a good night from the North Central Connected podcast studio.